Hello, Goblin Hall here. Today's lesson is going to cover the design process, which that's the first thing we do every time before I touch any sort of paper copy, any patterning, any sort of touching of leather. Nope. First, number one thing is get the design process and figure exactly what we want. Now, a lot of the design process can be broken into getting yourself into the right mindset. You're looking just open sky or dreaming. I usually refer to as dreaming with reckless abandon. It's all just kind of letting your mind wander and being just go hardcore nitty gritty into what your character is, what he does, what's their story. Give me the lore, give me the patterns, all of it. Just kind of run through it and figure out who and what your character is and get your nitty gritty through it. Now, I know what you're saying. Right, you've literally told us nothing. That's just a whole bunch of word salad. It's unhelpful. It doesn't do anything. But that's okay. If you've got any sort of creative bind and you can't quite get yourself running, I do have a few different ways to kind of get people moving when I'm actually doing their commissions. But nope. The first thing I usually go for is image searches. We've got a lovely resource that is the internet. So the vast majority of it's just kind of going in. I want you to look up your species and just skim around. If you've got no idea whatsoever, it'll give you kind of a basis. Oh man, that blue looking guy's cool. Man, check out that wow troll. That's so awesome. All right, well, get down into it. What do you like about him? What's your favorite thing? What's that? Do you like that sweet scar on it? Do you want awesome glowing eyes? Get into it. But after that, I get into the nitty gritties, which kind of help get people into the a little bit more controlled mind space on it too. Which I've got a list of questions I tend to roll through, which I've got them here, and I will have a copy of this list on my website. So that's for free download. You just gotta pop it. But no, after that, I get into the nitty gritties and kind of run through it and kind of break it down into small bite-sized pieces. Because when it comes to the design, it's real easy to get run over by the flow of it. If it's too big of a project, it works better if you just kind of break it down into smaller itty-bitty steps. Which I've got 10 questions I kind of go into on it, which is basically, what species are you? What species is your monster? Are you a gnoll, troll, warforged? What are you? What do you do? Once I've got that, next is going into coverage, which that's just exactly how it sounds. It's when it comes to actually figuring out the design, you should figure out what you want to be wearing. So it's full helmet, half mask, full mask, a lower half mask. Do you want a little tiny, just on the eyes, superhero kind of guy? What do you want? What do you want to take on the field or run around? It kind of changes a little bit of everything. After that, it breaks down into color. And that one, I usually do a image search of a color swatch in general to get oh, what are you, green? All right, green color swatch. And then you kind of go from there, and it'll give you a big old list, and you figure out what color you want. From there, that can usually that determines what kind of paint you do, as well as your dyes if you want to go into it. But after that, it goes into ears and nose, which depending on what kind of monster you go, depends on how big the detail is. I wouldn't ask a lizard folk what kind of ear or nose they have, or maybe the nose, but the ears, what am I gonna do? They got holes, man. But yeah, but figure out exactly what kind of ears. Are you looking for big, giant, long, comical ears? Are you looking for itty-bitty, stubby ones? Do you want them just like they've been cut off and there's nothing but a stump? What kind of ears do you want? Same thing with nose. Are you looking for a long goblin nose, big old a crook on it? You want it broken to one side or another? Are you looking for something that's short and stubby? What are you looking for? And then it goes to skin texture, which is we're talking get into the heavy details of it. Oh, you're a troll with a healing ability. All right, so does that mean that all of your stuff has been cut and ripped and shredded over the course of wear, and it's all healed up, so you've got lines and wrinkles and all sorts of overlapping flaky nonsense? Do you have a sweet burn pattern that's flaking on the edges? What's your skin texture look like? What kind of use have you seen in your day-to-day life as a monster? After that, it goes into jaw/expression, which if you do a mask that has a lower jaw, it'll come into a position of whether or not or are you smiling? Are you angry? What do you look like on your day-to-day? When it comes to the lower jaw, the upper jaw tends to only be a relatively straight/curved line. And don't worry, you can get a smile with flipping up the edges, but the lower jaw does a lot of the work as far as the actual motion and the expression in general. Same thing with the eyes. Eye ability will kind of pop that as well. And then after that, it breaks down to the tusk/teeth, which, it's all just do you have Do you have a lovely dentist? Are you a perfect, straight, wonderful teeth? Are you looking for tusks sticking out straight up like wow rolls? Are you looking for the ones that are just huge, giant tusks coming from the bottom? Do you have 4 tusks, 2 tusks? Do you have one broken off? What are you looking at? Are you gobbling with just like sharp teeth, or are they like gangly? Are you missing teeth? What do you have? What do you got? And then after that goes down to the aesthetics, which is what I call kind of the small itty bitty details, which usually goes down to, do you have like a crazy scar going across your face? Do you have notches in your ears from battle? Do you like earrings? Does your guy have like silver or gold? Do you have earrings in your ears, a nose ring, like a septum ring? Like what do you got? What does your guy prefer to wear on the day-to-days? Along with that also breaks into like, do you have any war paints going down your face, or do you have like your symbol like going like carved on the side? Like it goes real deep, real fast as far as what you want to be, what you want your face to actually be. It's always the small details that kind of brings things together, takes it from just a goblin mask to your face. And it's the small details are just the wonderful thing. It pulls everything together. And then the last question I usually bring folks is I ask for them to take a certain amount of measurements, which that one I do have, which I'll have on the website as well, list the measurements I take when it comes to masks. But every project that you do is going to ask for slightly different. Like a bracer is going to need different measurements than like a chest piece, well, et cetera, et cetera. But that one's, I mean, it's relatively straightforward. I can read through, but it doesn't matter. It's all just kind of going from inside of ear to tip of nose to inside of ear. On average, faces tend to be, I don't know, smallest one I've seen is like 9.5. Biggest one tends to be like 12.5 inches, give or take a little bit. So you have a little bit of flexibility on it. The main thing that changes when it comes to faces is going to be width across, like the circumference in general, like your hat size. That'll fluctuate pretty heavily, which is why I usually say to have adjustable straps so you can actually fit on. Because I've had a few through the years, I've made a couple masks that I've just done like, cool, looks wonderful, looks great, and they go put in their head, doesn't fit at all, and you're like, ooh, too big I can handle, too small, and I'm just crushing your head, I guess. But adjustable is the way to go. It's nice and easy. If you ever like, I'm gonna wear bandanas now, become a bandana guy, like that slight adjustment will make all the difference in the world. But beyond that, it's basically tip of nose to however high you want. If you're wearing hats, it's gonna stop at the eyebrows. If you don't, you can go all the way up to your hairline and it'll look nice. Or you can be like, I want a slightly bald look, and then you just push it all the way back and cover everything and stop at like just above in general where the hairline goes. But after that, just the width of mouth when you have it closed, just so we know exactly where your mouth is, because number one thing you got to do when it comes to actually making your own face and doing all that stuff is figuring out your breathing holes. Like it's all about kind of, can you wear this for long term? Can you fight with it? Can you take the field and do a lot of running around without like just dying in general? Like I've seen so many beautiful helmets out there where I look at and go, man, bro, it's gonna pass out. Like, ugh. But that's basically as far as the measurements. But this will give you a good adjustment for your ears. If you want to go for like extra credit, you can also do like from edge of like your bottom of the chin all the way across to the other side as well, to get your jawline figured out, as well as you can go from above ear down to the jawline as well if you want it a little more form-fitting. But these guys are kind of the most important ones, and like I said, they'll be on my website, just so you kind of you know exactly what you should be looking for. Now, from there, once we have like, okay, we've got our list, we've kind of run through all of the lists, we've gone through, we kind of know what our guy looks like, kind of what he does, where he's going. The next step is basically start doodling, which I'll have this next one on my pages on my website as well, because it's a nice resource. I know it's already goblin pictures, but that's the one I have access and control of. I pretty commonly I use like human faces for the front and the side view, but I realize that I do not actually legally own those pictures, so I had a new one made, which I got this from Fiverr, Nerd Tunes, if you're interested in what my cartoons are. But anyway, but these are all just front and side with transparency, and for that one, it's all about just sketching with a pencil, then going over with a pen to clean up your lines. And yeah, no, sky's the limit. You go nuts with this stuff. Like one mask I've been kind of interested in doing, which I'll kind of do in front of us here, is for some reason I got it stuck in my head that I want to do an anglerfish. I don't know why. Don't ask me these things. I'm not supposed to know. But no, a lot of it's just like, okay, let's run through it. Anglerfishes have a big old giant lower mouth, so this one has to go all the way in the bottom, crank out, and then you can kind of swoop them up. And a lot of when it comes to designs is keeping an eye on your actual on the sharpness of your corners. If you want something big and bulky and nasty and armory, you're talking a nice, sharp, hard angles, and with a lot of points tends to be the heavier looks onto it. And then instead of stitching, I suggest going and doing like hard rivets. So like, which actually I don't know why I'm not sketching this to show you while I'm at it. But no, if you want to do like, oh, I want this thing to be like Iron Jaw from like He-Man or anything, or probably the wrong phrasing, but no, it's basically just like, all right, you do this, you pop that out, you swoop up and do a nice curvy where it connects and do a nasty big old rivet, and then you do that with a hard edge on that. Maybe do a little layer here to give it that oomph. Add an internal tooth section, and then you just do hard rivets where it's going to connect, and like, bam, you got yourself like a straight up like Warforged, maybe not Warforged, that's the wrong word, but getting far more armor looking in general. Same thing with like okay, we want something to be nice and plated for that. It's going to be big old goblin-y, so it's just flip like that, do that, do a hard little point here to force that thing to curve it down, and then do a nice little eyeball with a curved angry look, because I don't know, man, it's a goblin. They tend to be a little bit on the unhinged side, so they kind of go nuts on it. And then you want this guy to be its own plate, because that kind of forces the robotic look on it. Have 2 to 4 rivets that hook onto that. Odds are this will either be one piece, or you can do stitches going onto to connect it. And then this will swoop up and connect. Couple nice proper solid rivets. You'll do your strap there, and then you do like a nice, this thing will probably be connected to this one, and then just do a hard jaw after this, and then swoop a big line to connect with this and do like rivets. But it becomes far more robotic, far more just beefy nasty armor in general. But I'm getting myself distracted. I was talking about an anglerfish and then went on a whole tangent. But okay, anglerfishes in general, which is kind of the one I'm probably going to be making as far as my next video, which will be covering pattern making in general. But nope, we got a big old fish, so we want a nice jaw that curves underneath and swoops up. And as far as that, it'll probably be a connector point over here, a little swoopy. Now, I like the concept of having a anglerfish helmet that has you can push up the jaw. Now, I don't know if I can do that, but that's okay. Like I said, we're working on the yeses. Don't worry about the no's. No's are tomorrow's issue. So from the bottom jaw, we do big old angry teeth. Odds are we'll make a space right about here, just so you can see, because no one wants to blind fight. That's just miserable. Pop open an upper jaw, and we want this thing to swoop back to make it far more fishy and crazy looking. And it's going to be the upper jaw, so we're talking swoop up on the brow and give us an angry look, so swoop up and then curve back down where it'll connect. And then we give it a big old gangly googly eye that's just like a thing, and that'll be stitched down on a separate piece of leather. Give it a little fin on the top, because why not, man? We're doing fish here. And then just for funsies, it'll probably be its own piece of leather as well, just ripped it down, and then we'll do a dangly little light on the top, and you can go crazy with that stuff and be like, I'm gonna do danglies with a bead that'll stitch on top of it, or you can do like an LED light if you want to go crazy with it. Like, oh man. And then it'll have like strap going down on both sides, and then one that goes underneath the ear to pull the whole thing in together. But yeah, no, like sky's the limit. From there, I usually hit it with a pen to clean it up and then erase all my nonsense. and then kind of continue after that. But yeah, like I said, this sheet will be available on the website for download to help you doodle and get yourself where you need to be. But yeah, just all design process is all about dreaming and letting yourself just putz around. Go for the coolest thing you can. Don't worry about what you can and cannot do today. Just focus on actually getting the job done and figuring out what you want. Because like, if that's the number one thing when it comes to all sorts of leather work, is especially this stuff, is if I make something, I want it to be something that someone will wear. I've seen too many times where like I make them a beautiful, beautiful mask, and then just like, oh no, I changed my mind. Never, it'll be on a lovely corner and collect dust in my house, which is just tragic. Like, man, what am I doing? Goodness. But yeah, that's all I've got for today. If you've got any questions or anything else, absolutely let me know. Send a message, put it in the comments, and I'll do my best to kind of go from there. Yeah, like, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. The next one, I'll be going over pattern making. We are going to do our best on that one because it's a tricky subject, because I'm going to be trying to talk you how to take a 2D media and turn it into a 3D shape. But yeah, we'll work on it together and see how far we get. Anyway, I'm out. Have a good one.